Louder with Crowder is brought to you in part by .com. Head over to the shop, support the fight, and buy some cool threads. It's the Tits Pajamas. .com.
Nazi fags, Jews, and nigger. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. President Trump and the demagogues around the world. But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. We choose truth over facts. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. Minnesota!
That's called the taking too long a sip because Tim the Toolman brought up a weird thing on the screen.
Did he?
Yeah,
What's a weird thing?
Also,
big gulp, huh?
I am still the sick. It's a
No,
sign
you worse than yesterday.
I'm worse than yesterday because I couldn't sleep, and so I don't know if you guys know it, but when you can't sleep and you're sick because everything hurts in your throat, and I was just sitting last night just praying like, oh God, can you just replace this with Omicron? Because this
So much
is
easier.
actually painful.
Yeah. Aw. Where's the little crying sound when we need it?
I'm sure Dave will make it at some point in the program.
Eventually.
But yeah, so then in the middle of the night, I was like, I can't sleep. So then I took like the whatever it is, the NyQuil, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I woke
Jack
up.
Daniels.
Yes. It's the Tennessee honey.
Yes.
Serving size of fifth, huh? Okay.
Actually, I'm not a Jack Daniels guy. I'm a Wild Turkey man. I do the Wild Turkey Tennessee honey.
There you go.
Whatever comes in a bag.
Yes, exactly. And an IV drip.
Yes.
So, look, we have a lot to get to today. A lot to talk about. I just peed on myself, by the way, outside by accident.
Really?
Because the bathroom, I didn't actually pee on myself. Let me just explain this.
Yeah.
Let me just, okay?
Go ahead.
The bathrooms were being used, which goes against company policy. 10 minutes before the show, they're supposed to be open.
Right.
Yeah, so I hope you had one hell of a dump, Bryce. And so I was like, I'm just going to go outside and use a bush. And then I was peeing against the wind.
You know you're not supposed to do that.
I know, it's an expression. But it didn't go on me. It didn't go on me. I just went like sumo. And so it went between, but it could have been dangerous.
Betwixt your legs.
Betwixt.
Listening to Bob Seger's Against the Wind.
Yes.
Yes.
It was amazing.
There's so many songs that is in, Stephen.
Actually, I was listening to Cat Stevens. I listen to the wind of my piss.
Step on
jeans
Superman's
are
cape.
ruined.
Pee in
Ruined by this.
Now they're soaked. My pants brand low whiz. So Lois jeans are just funny to me. I don't know why. Okay, we have a lot to get to, but look, and we're going to be taking on the Communist Chinese Party today. And by taking on, I mean talking about them and getting everyone to delete their TikTok because it is. I'm not sure if Eric Swalwell has ownership in it. I mean, he was getting hot tips from his
Fang.
mistress / Chinese spy. I don't know how that man is still allowed to represent office.
No clue.
Like, hey, what were you? You were having sex with a Chinese spy. He was like, yeah. Like, oh, okay. We'll just we'll give you a warning.
Yeah, I
Careful
know.
next time.
Meanwhile, I have to go to court for going 77 in a 75 zone.
Oh, that's true.
Very true. But
No warnings.
Had you been with a Chinese spy,
But I've been with a Chinese spy.
wouldn't have gotten the ticket.
I don't know. Go fast. Like, all right, you adorable little rascal. Okay. So, if we get removed, live show, of course, it's just Monday through Thursday. I know this week we've been late, but 10 a.m. Eastern on Rumble, and you can continue on Mug Club. Today is Chat Thursday. And you know what? I do have a question for you guys. Would you guys like us to start 1 hour later? And the reason I ask this is because a lot of people on the Pacific Coast want to watch live, and they can't.
It's really early for those guys.
So I know this is part of your routine, but seriously, if you guys could comment below if you would prefer that we start at 11, That's something we
11
can,
Eastern.
11 Eastern. That's something we can do. It's not something we have to do, but it's a discussion we're having because a lot of people in the Pacific Coast are, look, I mean, I just think they should move.
Well, that's good. But and by the way, let me clarify. Actually, at 11,
Right.
Eastern, too. We wouldn't be pushing.
No, we wouldn't be pushing because often what happens is news breaks. And
Yeah.
hey, another question of the day. You can comment. If you could change your race, what would you choose? The correct answer is black. It's always black.
I was going to say whiter.
Yes.
Yes. There's so many benefits, Dave.
You want to be Gallagher?
Yes, exactly. I want to be Sinbad.
Yes. Ladies be all up at the mall.
Yes.
Smash the like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. I'm just getting this out of the way right now. Smash it. Like it.
All right.
And Gerald A., how are you?
I'm doing much better than you because I didn't pee on myself. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well because I'm excited today to talk about the TikTok segment.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm excited to get everybody to trash their TikTok, to delete their TikTok. Today we are going to start. I've hated TikTok. People have said I should be on TikTok. I've always disagreed. And I'm pretty sure after today, I'm not going to manually delete TikTok. They're going to manually remove me from TikTok. And there will be no profanity.
No.
There will be no factual inaccuracies. All references available at loudwithcrowder.com. But I'm pretty sure the Chinese spies are going to remove me.
I think that'll be fun.
It'll be a good time. And you know them. You love them. We have one more show in Royal Oak, Michigan. We added one on April 16th. So bring it up there, Tim the Two-Man. Bring it up. Be a little bit
4
quicker to the draw. Quick draw. Quick draw. There you go.
Oh, hey.
April 16th, there are like maybe like 100 tickets left. So get them right now while they're hot. Dave Landau, how are you?
Ahoy. Good. How about you?
I'm doing,
Well, I don't even know why I asked. We've been over the peeing on the self.
Yep. I didn't pee on myself.
Still
I don't
smell like
think I have,
urine.
like,
I didn't pee on myself. I almost urinated on myself.
No, I'm sorry. That's true. You almost peed in the wind.
Right. I urinated into the wind. I should have done this.
You wouldn't have to. It's really windy.
It's not that windy out there.
It is windy. What the hell's the
Not
matter
when
with
you're
you?
in the corner of the building.
Why does anyone do that like they can't feel a breeze?
Yeah, I know.
Now I know.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me take off my belt buckle and put it on a leaf and a bit of water, and I'll make a compass.
Ah, here we go.
That's north. And I pissed myself. None of this helped.
Never helps. But I know which direction.
I thought the wind was blowing this way. Now that I've licked my finger, I'm aware it's
Yes,
that way.
exactly. Thank God for that old salivary trick.
And what happened to him? He died of starvation in the woods.
Yes, he died of starvation in the woods. Did he have did he have a Bowie knife? Did he have no, he just, he was really confident in this. And he was mauled by a grizzly bear.
Yes. He named it Jelly Bean.
Yes. Did us all a favor. Okay, before we move on, though, we honor, of course, we're getting towards the end of this month, but we honor our brethren. It's Black History Month right here. What? Now, Black History facts we want to deliver to you guys, so you guys learn a little bit about our Black history. Why isn't it African American months? Is it black across the globe?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I was just watching this. It was a UFC press conference, and someone said, and of course, we want to honor our African American, African and African American fighters because the guy's from Cameroon.
I was going to say, yeah, if you lived in Kenya and they're like, it's African American, you're like, how's that possible?
Yeah, you go to Kenya, you call them minorities. Yeah. Like, no.
Have you looked around?
We are all mostly here.
Yes, we are here, and you are the odd one out. Jelly Bean, take care of him.
Why
He keeps licking his finger like that does anything.
I think black is the appropriate term.
It should be the appropriate term. The appropriate term should be brown because they're not really black.
No, I don't think there's very few people that I would describe as actually like black. It says I would describe very few people as white.
Right.
Well, yeah, of course.
Photo negative humans.
Yes, that's what I prefer to call them.
Yeah. Let me give you some black history facts. In the 1850s, George Crumb, this is true, invented the potato chip when a customer kept complaining his fries were too thick. Yeah.
I like that. It's just passive aggressive. It's like hair.
That ain't the only thing that's thick, lady.
Yeah. I love it how too it was a fry and then he invented the potato chip where she's like, these are too thick. He's like, here, it's dry and disgusting.
Yeah.
But I put salt.
You want a French fry, but it's all satisfying where it's crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside? Here's some Lay's, bitch.
Yeah. Enjoy
Bitch, you can't eat just one.
Yeah.
made a
These
fortune.
are delightful.
Yeah. Once I pop, the fun don't stop.
Oh.
Leave my diner.
Do you have a tennis ball can?
What's the next one, Dave? Black History Facts.
Well, in 1897, Alfred L. Crail, is that right? Invented the ice cream scoop. What were they doing before? Allowing kids to have larger scoops as opposed to spoonfuls.
Yeah, well, I think it was more of a health thing because he was hand feeding the kids.
That's true.
That's good.
Yeah,
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take
Childhood
one
diabetes.
handful of mint chocolate chip, please.
Yes.
It's like, there's got to be a better way.
It's like just filling up a wig cap. Here you go. Here you go. Take it.
Just whatever the kid brought is what he put ice cream in.
I don't know. This is almost too permeable, Mr. Crawl.
Yeah.
Quit your bitching.
There was only a larger spoon that could get this ice cream out easier.
Yeah. And the Chinese are like, chopsticks? No.
Yeah, still to this day.
No.
Good luck.
You're just puncturing the chunky monkey.
You can make an iPhone, but still to this day, they're like, no, we eat with twigs.
Yes, exactly.
They're much more efficient.
Yeah.
Here's another actually fact. NASA aerospace engineer Lonnie Johnson invented the Super Soaker, although Hasbro chose the wetter is better over his original slogan, who wants to see some wet-ass titties? This has been Black History Month. And we are going to be talking about TikTok. And more importantly today, I wanted to, this is something that maybe isn't trending in the news, talk about the problem with the American healthcare system. I think that everyone agrees that it's broken. And certainly it's broken as far as how it helps the average American citizen. During COVID, we weren't actually allowed to discuss measures that you could take to improve your health because that was considered misinformation.
Yeah.
If you would tell people diet and exercise or using also supplements, meaning supplementary, right, type of vitamins or medicines.
It's in the name.
You were banned. And we were never saying these were measures to replace pharmaceutical measures.
Right, yeah.
But I think we have it exactly wrong. I think that drugs and pharmaceutical interventions should be seen as supplementary, and overall health and wellness should be seen as our focus here in the United States. And you know what? In COVID, that's been greatly exacerbated. The entire medical community. We were just sort of going over this. We said we should do a segment about this. You assume that doctors are practicing medicine.
Yeah.
First, doing no harm. But then you realize you can find a doctor who will perform a sex change on a kid.
Yeah. Or do an unnecessarily back surgery.
What would Hippocrates say? He'd be like,
Well, I'm not-
first, do no. Did you just take his cock? What?
You what? You know what? I'm not going to invent medicine. We don't deserve
Your
it.
first rule is do no. Did you just suture up that cooch? What is what?
I just love how it's called practicing medicine for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, because you fail at it, and then it's like, follow the science.
Right.
No.
It's like, so which is it?
If you just killed 5 people, I'm practicing.
All right.
Okay.
But before we get to TikTok and before we get to that, here's something that's been going on. A white British man, Ollie London, spent an estimated $250,000 on all kinds of like facial reconstructive surgeries, all this stuff. Yeah. To turn himself into a Korean influencer.
Okay.
So
Good.
yeah.
Sounds normal. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, honestly, we can't judge this guy and then elect one other guy prime minister. It's the same thing.
True.
So if you're having a hard time, and I was when I read this, because, often I'll read articles preparing for this program and not watch the video because the videos, all these sites, they have all these autoplay ads. So I missed the video,
Yeah.
but I was curious. And your curiosity has served you well, my friends.
Hey you, what you gonna do? Korea boo is coming for you. Denounce my own, now I'm sitting on the Korean throne. I'm the king of K-pop, my love took me to the top. Hey you, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Hey you, what you gonna do? Scream and shout, there's no doubt. Korea boo is coming for you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Hey you, what you gonna do? Scream and shout, there's no doubt. Korea boo is coming for you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
I don't know at what point this becomes appropriate.
Yeah, I hope nobody dances into a beaker in a lab there.
Right. I mean, Peter, that's offensive to, let's just see, Koreans, women,
Ears.
gays, Elton John, midgets, and you have Peter Dinklage here complaining about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There wasn't even a reason for that midget to be in there.
No, he's just...
Inclusivity.
It was just to say, hey, look, this is also weird.
And is he even an authentic midget? You don't even know anymore.
No, you could just be Korean.
Yeah.
Well, it could be the camera angle.
Yeah, well,
be
he
the
could have
camera.
just had his legs
Yeah.
sawed off because he wants to identify as a little person as opposed to in the same way this guy pretends he's... I don't care.
Oh,
about
you know what? If
life
I could change my
anymore.
race, I would change it to little person.
Yes.
What is that? That's not a race.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm just saying if I could make that a race.
If that was
I would
part of
change
the-
it.
okay.
It's a protected class. I'm changing the rules. Which protected class would you like to be? Not just race.
Yeah,
It could be race. It could be protected class. I would like to be a little person.
but
I think Peter Dinklage should play all 7 dwarfs.
Yes. Yeah,
Wouldn't
exactly.
that be just an acting tour de force?
Yes. It'd be like Peter Dinklage, the clumps.
Yeah.
Hercules.
Sleepy.
Now, I'm grumpy.
Yeah.
Great, Dinklage.
Fantastic. Give him an
This
Oscar.
guy's good because he's, a dwarf.
Yes. It's like, how good would it be if he was not a dwarf? Enough.
Fine.
He'd be fine. He'd probably make a couple things in the CW.
Off.
Look,
Broadway.
Warwick Davis is better, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, exactly. Guy from Seinfeld who tackled Kramer. He's also pretty good.
Yeah.
I met him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got to interview that dude. He's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard he's actually pretty.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Yeah.
And then he was in The Watchmen, and I don't know. That dude's awesome.
Yeah, the little. I don't know his name, but he was also in Jingle All the Way, which is a
Yes.
classic.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So here's also something. Speaking of the Korean influencer, he wanted to be so badly Korean. This guy Ali. Mm-hmm. This is true. He plans for a penis reduction.
Is that
Well,
real?
that's not offensive.
No, that's not offensive at all to an entire nation of people. But here's the thing. Is it really any more offensive than a man saying, I'm a woman? And they say, okay, well, how are you going to act as a woman? The stereotype of a Barbie woman. That's what trans people do.
Well,
you know what I mean? We say, hey, we don't want to perpetuate the negative stereotypes of women. But when it's a man, he walks in with big fake boobs and blonde hair and
Right,
oh,
yeah.
look, all the splendor that is men with menses.
Yes.
So this is what he actually said. I don't want to be, actually he said it like this. I don't want to get offended by this, but in Korea, the average penis size is like 3.5 inches. This is what he said. And I get trolled all the time. Hold on a second. Wait. You get trolled for not having a 3.5 inch tallywagger?
What are you like showing it off online?
He
or
said,
something?
people say,
How
oh,
would people know?
Yeah.
yeah.
They're like, all right, if you're really Korean, let's prove it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm like,
Oh,
That thing is huge. What's that, 4 inches?
yes. That's way past the 3.8, which we call the 0.3 grace inches.
you're not measuring from the right point, sir.
What's sad is if I was a Korean penis taller, I'd feel better about myself.
But you
If only.
wouldn't be a K-pop star. So then he wrote, people say, oh, you can't be Korean. You're not 100% Korean due to the wiener size. And I just want to be 100% Korean. Meaning you want to insult 100% of the population of Korea. Look,
Yeah.
and I know we're talking about all South Korea, but North Koreans are only smaller. Okay, there have been studies that show because of malnourishment. The point is, you're offending both South Koreans and North Koreans just by implying, like, this is a whole...
It's a bad marketing ploy.
Can we send this guy to North Korea, like put him in Rodman's luggage
would
and just
love-
let them deal with him?
Yes,
for sure.
absolutely. I think he should go shoot one of his videos there. See how it goes.
So,
I'm sure there's a Korean there hung like a horse.
yeah.
Yeah,
Probably like 6 inches.
It's actually a Korean breed of horse.
Yeah, it's
It's called hung.
called a pony.
Oh, no. Go ride hung. It ain't good for rodeo.
his name is Tron Jeremy.
Yes.
Can you imagine pulling out your 5 inches and Korean women are like, my gracious.
They're passing out as you walk by. Just,
I don't think I have the room.
what do you think they worship Dear Leader for?
People are just fainting.
Can we fact check this, by the way, on Mug Club? Is he just, I feel like this guy, Ollie, is just, all right. I feel like he's just making up that it's 3.5 inches. But here's the thing.
Yeah, probably.
We'll figure it out later. We'll do it on Mug Club. It's Chat Thursday, where it gets very weird. But we actually did procure the rest of Ollie's John Thomas, and we've been granted permission by the London estate to auction it off for charity.
Oh, good.
Because he's already gone through the procedure, and so now we'll actually be taking live callers who want to place their bids. And I believe we have one on the line. Our first, it's a Korean caller.
네, 안녕하세요. Hello. I am very interested in extra penis.
Okay, well, thank you for your interest. We appreciate it, but we actually have, I believe, we have some other hold on the line, some other calls coming in.
Whoa, the penis caller heat map is lighting up.
Really?
Oh, wow.
We do not have the bandwidth for all these.
Well, that is all Korea.
Wait a minute.
Well, there's one. Wait, is that Texas?
There's one in Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Well, for people who don't know, Little Lane he actually lived in Korea for a long time.
Little Lane.
You might be saying that's a really white guy.
Over there, he was just fine. But when
Well,
he came back,
he shrunk by osmosis.
yeah.
There was actually, he lost most of it in a fire, guys. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't know if you knew that.
No, well,
Yeah.
It was a
Tragic.
a penis kitchen fire.
yes, it was kitchen fire.
If he,
Those happen a lot.
Well, they do it to get your Korean green card.
yeah. Don't cook naked.
You must
Fine.
swear oath and put penis in fire.
Ah, too long. Must chop.
Sorry. More than 3.5 inches, you're no good.
We can't have you walking around like monster.
Oh, Godzilla's here.
You seen Justin Trudeau?
You see the host? So let me give you one more update, too. Remember Quinton Brown? We talked about him yesterday?
Yeah, upstanding citizen, right?
The guy who tried to shoot the mayoral candidate?
Right.
So we have an update, but just for those who weren't following it, we talked about this yesterday. Monday night, a Black Lives Matter activist, Quinton Brown, he was arrested for attempting to shoot the Louisville mayor a Louisville mayor candidate. So, okay, in 2019, Brown was actually recognized by the Obama Foundation for his work in the community, and he got to meet President Obama.
Oh, what an
An
honor.
upstanding young citizen. Well, now we have an update for you.
Okay.
You know, again, to reiterate, attempted murder.
He's behind bars, right?
Sure.
Well, see, you would think. You would think, but you also wouldn't think that it would be socially acceptable for a man to go and to spend $250,000 to go in Korea face and
that's
shorten
true.
his
Yeah,
penis.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the point is, we're off the grid.
We're a little absurd.
Yeah, we don't know where we are at this point, and this
Right.
is not going to help you find
No,
your
no,
way.
no, no, no.
You will not find your way
You'll
home.
pee all over yourself.
So he actually, there's a Louisville Community Bail Fund supported by Black Lives Matter. They posted his $100,000 bond.
Wow.
Good for him.
Really?
Yeah.
If you look at one of their reasons for doing it, they wanted to make sure that he was safe and he was in a nice, comfortable place. And they said, look,
yeah.
he needs the mental health services that need to be provided. And here's why. Because he had PTSD from a lot of the social unrest over the last couple of years. And I'm like, you are the reason there was social unrest. It's like saying the hijackers on 9/11 need to be treated specially because they've had a rough day.
Right.
They're the cause of the rough day.
I've just blocked out the
matter.
memories.
Can you find someone who
Come on.
doesn't have PTSD from the last 2 years?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the guys running around burning down Walgreens saying, "Oh man, this was really rough on me. I need some help."
I bet you probably a little bit of PTSD for that mayoral candidate, along with his Swiss cheese chest.
Did you see that there was actually
Slightly.
a bullet hit his clothes but didn't actually hit him? Like, what kind of Matrix moves was this guy doing? And a bullet like kind of just wings his arm.
I just think Brown was high.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Or holding it sideways.
Yeah, he was holding it sideways for a kill shot. He's like, hey.
Just stop
Take some
talking about
shooting
the
lessons.
K-pop guy.
Or maybe he had like half of a best friend necklace.
Yes,
And he's like, I knew it.
I knew it.
It's a burning bullet in it.
And the other half was Quinton Brown. He's like, I thought you were supposed to be good to me.
Cable guy.
This is one of those things. Think about it. They're freezing funds to the convoy of trucks. We talk.
Yes.
Is the law applied equally? There should be no organizations allowed to bail out criminals for committing violent crimes. Now, again, people are saying, hey, I don't think it's being inconsistent. You can comment below. Let me know. I don't think it's inconsistent to say, no. You can't allow funding for criminals. You can't allow funding for violent criminals.
Yeah.
And of course, you should allow funding for peaceful protests, for people who are protesting with a specifically peaceful mission statement. Just like when people say, hey, free speech, you're not being consistent. Can I make a death threat? No. That's illegal. There are very few carve-outs to what's illegal. Calls to violence, threats of violence, lying deliberately to cause violence, like yelling fire in a crowded theater. You can yell fire in a crowded theater if there's a fire. If there's not, it's the violence that could break out, the stampede that could be taking place in an Amy Schumer film, that is the problem. Same
be
thing
enough people.
here.
Well, that's just from the film.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, there's not a stampede of people to actually leave
Right.
an Amy Schumer film, but I understand your point.
Well, Amy Schumer was doing a Q&A, and she marched out. So.
Aren't there
He's
people
hosting-
from January 6th that were protesting that are still being held or were up till recently.
Yeah, no bail funds.
With no bail funds for that.
I believe one's pregnant. I could
Were
be
they?
wrong.
Weren't they shooting at everyone there? I thought there were guns everywhere for that one. And that's got to be why they're held.
Yeah, that's got to be why they're held. No, this guy just tried to shoot at a mayoral candidate. $100,000 bond.
Yeah.
For crying out loud. And then watch. And then the SPLC will talk about some local Baptist church being the greatest threat.
Guys, he was shooting at the suit.
You know what sucks
That's
is
true.
these racists who are like, and I mean these like black supremacists, like the black Hebrew Israelites and the black, the Louis Farrakhan's, these people, this guy who went out, Quinton Brown, and shot this Jewish mayoral candidate. What sucks is I feel bad that they'll never get their manifesto out. Because, they're like, hey, what happened? Well, I was shooting him because he was a greedy shekel hoarding, and it's because really he was just upset and he wasn't raised properly. No, it's because he was Jewish, and I hate and we have a problem with white supremacy. Let me get my shit out!
Well, when
I
Shackle,
hate Jews!
when Shackle Housing spelled with a Z is written on the back of an IHOP placemat,
Right.
it just doesn't have the same effect.
And the map to the end is like 6 wrong paths. I don't know how to do this shit.
Just go outside of it. And around.
Let's just get rid of this.
Connect the dots in this motherfucker.
This is gonna make him mad.
What is this? And I didn't know I was taking a test for Mensa. The fuck?
So with that last
Did I get a
story,
grant?
Mission Control just sent me this. Someone, Theodore Prickett, had posted this. LOL, that rich coming from an organization that supports someone who just shot at a government employee, organization being BLM.
Yeah.
And so BLM Louisville, they took this down, but they put candidate.
Oh, okay.
Correcting him.
Yeah.
What?
There's a carve out.
Yeah, that's what you decided to fact
Yes.
check.
Yes.
Oh, that's the problem.
Candidate.
That was a mostly false from Snopes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like Ilhan Omar marrying her brother.
he was
That's
running
insane.
for office.
Yeah, he was just running for
Come
office.
on.
Then
Yeah.
he was running from his office because he was being
Being
shot.
at.
So stupid.
Why? What's your problem with it? Because he's black?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
It's gotta
Yeah,
be.
let's go with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Speaking of racism, which of course is what Quinton Brown is. He's a victim.
Yeah, he's very much so.
Yeah.
Camera phones. I don't know if you know this. I mean, we've known this for a long time. They're racist. But there was this. I don't watch the Super Bowl. If you guys watched yesterday, Steven knows sports. It's pathetic.
You won.
You did win.
Yeah, I know, but it was. Come on, don't give it to me.
You lose as
did
well.
win.
Well,
A win's a win.
You are far too kind. You are far too kind. And I will say, just since we're doling out compliments, 4.2. Dave is selling himself
What?
short.
Oh my gosh. Proportionally, that's impressive.
It's a tripod. Now,
Well, it's something else.
the Google.
Korea, they call me Godzilla.
Yes. In Korea, they call you the host. The Google Pixel, I guess that's still a thing. The Super Bowl ad was, they were kind enough to let us know that camera phones, this is what, I mean, remember when Super Bowl ads used to be like the Budweiser Clydesdales?
Yes.
Yeah, it
and
was
Bud
awesome.
Bowl and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Good American.
What's
beer.
up?
Does anybody remember Spuds
frogs.
McKenzie?
Yes.
I know. Half the staff here was like, who are you talking
Oh
about?
my gosh. Fire every one of them.
I
Let's get
wanted
names.
to.
I know.
They're like, you mean like the Target dog? I'm like, no, I
Screw
don't.
you. Not the target dog.
In the sense that it's a dog, yes.
Right. Well, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. So the Google Pixel Super Bowl ad, these are the kinds of ads that we have to deal with now. They were kind enough to remind you that camera phones are racist. This is a real ad.
People with darker complexions have always struggled with having good lighting.
Every single yearbook photo of mine has been terribly shot since I
Touch
was
the
a kid.
screen.
I
You'll be
always show
fine.
up just too dark or shiny.
Especially that one.
Cause if you love me, you love all
We don't.
of me.
Don't understand.
Everything the light touches.
This is kind of everyone's problem with cameras,
Baby,
though.
give me
Yeah.
light touches.
Oh, you mean you solve it by taking the pictures in daylight
Yeah.
as opposed to a dark dance hall?
And not with the sun behind you? Wow.
She's on a rooftop. Of course you're going to see her more clearly.
Why are you in a pool with that headgear?
Was that a white chick? We had one?
No, she was Asian.
Asian. Okay.
That better be a panoramic.
I mean, I do admit that pixels have gotten much better.
Yeah.
It's just technology.
I mean, they have gotten better. I mean, how many pixels were needed for that wide frame finale?
Quite a few.
Look,
Probably needed to lose.
I think there's probably, like when there were crappy little digital camera phones.
Yeah.
I will say this, I had a teacher at my Centennial Regional High School. He was very dark. He was from Barbados. And when he would take the graduation pictures, but we were in a dark dance floor.
Yeah.
He would smile. It looked like a Cheshire cat. That was up because he was very, very dark. I am not oblivious to this, but let's be honest here. You just showed pictures from like the 1990s, graduation pictures, and then you took pictures of biracial women on rooftops.
Yes.
Like, look how much better this camera is. Well, you mean the sun? Like, look how much clearer it is. Well, yeah, you put a shark hunting light on them.
Well, you also, in the one photo, you don't focus on the palm trees. You focus on the girl in the front.
Right.
So that's what it is.
That's all it is. Says like Google Pixel.
That would happen to anyone, regardless of.
Yeah, I feel like they're like, here.
Boop. Yep.
There we go.
Oh, we focused on it.
Yeah, wow.
Look
who
at
knew?
that. Also, it helps if you don't take the picture in a tunnel.
Do you have a camera I can get that only shows whites?
Oh, geez. A whites only camera?
Yes, we do.
Well, you know what? Actually, we do. So, to be fair, and I understand, and we actually did an experiment here. There's always, like we've said, there's always a kernel of truth, right, to their side.
True.
We have a picture right here that was taken on a run-of-the-mill iPhone 13, right? Run-of-the-mill iPhone 13 there, okay? Now look at that same picture taken with the Pixel 6. Yep, there, yep. Yes. Now we know.
If the picture don't take...
If it didn't use a pixel, my man must get acquittal.
If it ain't an iPhone 6, you must acquit.
You must acquit.
You know what I
If you use an iPhone 13, this verdict ain't worth a hill of beans.
That's a racist camera.
Yep, that is a racist camera. Oh, wait a second. We just all supposed to trust the cameras from iPhone, Apple? Y'all seen Tim Cook?
That camera
Top
dead.
demons?
She dead on the floor because she was a white whore.
Yes.
I don't know what that has to do with the camera, but it rhymed.
I just wanted to fit that in there. That's a cipher.
You know what? I stand corrected. That picture did prove me wrong. I take back everything I said.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got these cameras out there.
Yeah, it's almost like a magic eye painting. If you just look at it long enough, you're like, wait a second, I see OJ.
Also, the number 7.
Yeah.
That would have been the exact time in history, too, for one of those to work during
Yes.
a trial.
Yeah.
All right, take a look.
All right, everybody, just lose your focus on your eyes. You see him stabbing her, right?
You just have Ethan Suplee staring at it until he sees OJ.
I mean, it hasn't always been that bad. The Rodney King footage was crystal clear.
Yeah.
That was true.
Exactly what was happening. Jeez.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it wouldn't have had the same effect.
No.
Yeah, there wasn't even a racist in America that was like,
No, they're all,
they're like, this is
yeah,
a bit
come on,
much, guys.
Yeah. Maybe we should just move to
exactly.
set your batons to not asshole. How about
Yeah.
that?
Robert Bird's like, ooh.
All right. So look, by the way, smash that like button. I know I mentioned it before. That does help with the algorithm here on YouTube because we're about to get into a segment that is not going to serve many of us well.
This is funny.
TikTok. You know it. You hate it for all the right reasons. If you like TikTok, I can't be friends with you.
What?
It's a litmus test. It's like if someone doesn't like dogs.
Or Dolly Parton's.
Well, yeah, people who aren't Mug Club members. That's
Dogs more so.
Oh, my word. Oh, my word.
I take it back.
Take me to Dollywood.
Yeah, that's why they call it that.
Yeah.
That's why there's wood in that sentence.
Oh, jeez.
They have a Dollywood in Korea.
What?
It's called Dolly 3.5.
Yeah.
It's because.
Dolly partial wood.
Yes. Dolly Shortwood. So, Peter Dinklage, like, that's my nickname.
These are the smallest roller coasters I've ever seen.
It's really just a go-kart put on an old train track.
It's like one of those teacups. That's all they got.
Yeah.
You got to spin yourself.
All right. So TikTok. This is the other part of Asia. We're dealing with China right now. Two separate studies now. Two separate studies have confirmed that TikTok circumvents the kinds of security protections that are on Apple and Google Play stores. Let me give you an idea as to what that means, because we all know that we have problems with social media and privacy.
Yeah.
This is a different level. Okay, this means the device tracking ability, gives TikTok's Beijing-based parent company, ByteDance, complete access to user data.
Yeah.
Okay, and not only that, it gives TikTok the ability to actually change behavior within the app without user consent.
Yeah.
Now that means that it can feed you whatever propaganda it wants without your knowledge.
Right.
And it's not, and the studies show it's not based on what you like. Like, oh, hey, Pinterest. It's like, I'm looking at like glasses of wine, or I'm looking at knitting or homemade soap, and then all of a sudden you're just seeing a WHO study that says Taiwan isn't a thing.
Right. It's
So
like
Gerald's Pinterest?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Not until I've had my third glass of wine.
Time to crochet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, to be clear, apps like Facebook, this is very different. Twitter, Facebook, they don't have that ability.
Right.
Gonna hit me.
This is a different level of severity. Were you about to say something there, Gerald?
No. I was just going to kill Dave.
Oh, okay.
One day it's gonna hurt. Just gonna hit it with a Jeep.
He's going to be like, all right, I did it.
Now-
No, but they can change all of that, and they can actually, what is it, your Seth Meyers thing that
Yeah.
you probably have? That's basically what they have the ability to do.
Only
now.
they can push propaganda
Exactly.
that paints China in a positive light, and they have done
and
that.
pushes other stuff away from you so that you can't see anything
Right.
critical of China.
And there's more to it that we'll need to get into. But here's a big difference. Now, I've always said this about Facebook, about Twitter, about YouTube. They operate in the United States, so you need to adhere to the United States laws, right? We have free speech laws. You need to adhere to those laws because those are the laws that allowed your company to flourish.
Yeah.
Now, they often don't, and so we have, hopefully, if conservatives do their job, the ability to call them to the mat because we have laws that they aren't following. They're not following fairly, or Section 230. That doesn't apply when you have a company like ByteDance that has irrefutable ties to the Communist Chinese Party. Okay, so in August, the Chinese government, they took a stake of, a few things. They took a board seat in Beijing, the ByteDance technology company.
Yeah.
So there's now, and there's also some, I can't confirm this, but again, all references available at loudwithcutter.com. There's also some funding money that's exchanged hands, which is, we can't confirm all that, but look, a board seat
right.
at this with a Communist Chinese Party member, that's enough,
Well,
okay?
don't worry. They basically, when I read this article, they said they weren't going to have any direct control of the company because of the company's corporate structure. So nothing to see here.
Yeah,
It's
because of the company's
totally
corporate
fine.
structure.
Yeah,
Wait, what's your corporate structure involve? It involves a board. Okay, who's on the board? The Communist Chinese Party. Yeah. Don't worry, no Uyghur.
How many votes does he get? Well, however many he wants.
Yeah, depending on how many family members die.
Yeah.
Isn't this mostly geared towards kids and young
Oh,
people
yes.
as well?
It's
Yeah.
mostly
Young
geared
women.
towards kids, which still wouldn't make the crap that you find on there permissible. But this does allow it really does. It allows the Communist Chinese Party completely unfettered access to all of your personal information, and then they can control what you see.
Yeah.
I don't know how this skirts any type of American legislative full lockout. And of course, we know that Donald Trump was much tougher. What were you about to say there, Joe?
I was about to say exactly that. Donald Trump was much tougher on this. He had an executive order in place that made them purchase or work with an American company, and that was Oracle at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as Joe Biden comes into office, very quickly after that, he rescinds it.
Right.
So they're good to go.
And then Hunter Biden was also on their board.
Well,
And their board only has two people. It's Hunter Biden and that communist.
and they're just all smoking Parmesan.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So how I do? I block hole and I don't feel it.
Got to hit it harder.
And actually,
Small pair of illegal feet.
yes. The comedian Andrew Schultz.
Yeah, he's very funny.
He actually, he really did have a phenomenal take on this. So if you can't say it better, I want to, point you to the original. I'd recommend you go and watch his full clip on this.
That's why the TikTok thing was a big deal, because it was a social media platform we didn't create. So it's like, oh, we don't want some other country's tech influencing us. Because apparently, like in China, the way that the algorithm works, it doesn't reward people doing stupid dances and like playing with their dog. The algorithm is rewarding things that they want to see their youth do. So people doing cool engineering, people doing cool science. But if you're China and you wanted to disrupt another country, wouldn't you reward the dumbest possible on that app? Twerking, people doing stupid dances. You want the next level of youth to go, I can be famous doing something that's truly worthless to society.
Now, here's the thing. Andrew Schultz, very funny. I don't understand the flood pants.
Well, yeah.
It's a deep chair.
Is it a choice or is he just that tall?
He's a tall dude.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, let's
yeah,
just go with
yeah.
that. No, he really did. That was put
I
succinctly and put very
I
well.
loaned him my pants.
Did you?
Yeah. Here you go, sir. They'll fit like a glove.
Yeah, right.
We traded pants in '98. Mine are very baggy.
Yes, that's what happened. They drag. I thought they were frayed. You purchased them frayed from Abercrombie.
No. These are just worn out.
But did you cut the holes in the ass? Is that what the?
Oh,
Well,
Easy.
Cut's a strong word.
Okay.
Yeah.
They more of just a tear.
They were ripped.
In a moment of passion. What is this? What is this? A chastity gene?
In the heat of the moment.
Telling me what your ass man.
Oh no.
The heat of the moment caught in your pants. All right.
In Dave's jeans.
So knowing all of this, while we're talking about TikTok, I want to start a trend with all of you.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said, why haven't you gotten off YouTube yet? Look, nothing would make me happier than for all of you to join Mug Club or at least Rumble for people who don't want to pay for the additional hour show. That's the only way this show exists. If not enough of you join Mug Club, the show goes away, but you can at least watch the free show on Rumble. I would much rather see, like, when we do this show, we'll have anywhere from, 70, 80,000 people live on YouTube and like 15,000 on Rumble. I would love to see those numbers switch. Yeah. I would love to see those numbers flip and more on Rumble, but we cannot force you to. So we are on YouTube as long as is permissible so that we can get the message out, of course, as long as we're not actually censoring what we're saying. We're still able to speak the truth relative by YouTube standards.
I mean, you can't quote the CDC, but other than that, yes. Anything else?
Opaque standards. You can quote the CCP.
Oh, well, yes.
Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, it's encouraged. But with TikTok, we've reached a point, and I've told you that if we reach this point with Facebook, with Twitter, with YouTube, where we believe that we are no longer able to honestly communicate with you, we will leave.
Yeah.
Okay? We're not there yet, and so it's a tool that we use. TikTok is beyond that point. So basically this, I can't in good conscience remain on the platform on TikTok. I've already been banned like 3 times. So it's not like I'm taking a huge risk at this point. I mean, I've tried to stay back, try to get back on the app to fight the horrible degeneracy that's on there. It hasn't worked. We keep getting shadow banned and just banned. Yeah. So what we're going to do on air today, what I'm going to do is make a video right now that we are going to put on TikTok. And I was going to manually delete TikTok was the plan, like on my phone, go look, and then I realized, wait a second, I don't need to do that.
You can have much.
I can just say true things.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we'll give you the floor and let you get it off your chest.
Yes. So this video and the hashtag is going to be trash TikTok. I want all of you to get rid of your TikTok accounts and discuss it on every platform that you have. Maybe comment below the hashtag trash TikTok. Sometimes that actually sort of feeds into Twitter. You can share this right now. You can share this show if you're watching live. Hit the share button. Trash TikTok is the hashtag. Let's go out with a bang, okay? Watch it. Right now, I am going to close my TikTok. The 9-dash line isn't real. Mao's great leap forward led to the death of 45 million Chinese citizens. Are we hitting those?
Boom, boom, go!
We got to add the little extra offense to it there, Keegan. On June 4th, 1989, the CCP murdered thousands of protesters at the Tiananmen Square. Taiwan is, in fact, a real country and not a part of communist China. More than 1 million Uyghur Muslims are detained in re-education camps in Xinjiang right now.
Boom, boom, go!
By the way, also, kimchi is Korean, not Chinese. COVID likely originated, and by likely, I mean absolutely originated at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And Xi Jinping looks exactly like Winnie the Pooh when he gets stuck in the honey tree. China's one-child policy led to millions of forced abortions.
Boom, boom, go!
And the Senkaku Islands, I just want to make sure I get this clear so that you can remove me appropriately, TikTok. The Senkaku Islands, however, I don't care. The point is, it belongs to Japan, not you. And finally, I think all of us can say this in unity on the count of 3. 3, 2, fuck the CCP! Okay, Austin, get that up on TikTok over there. I appreciate it. And I encourage every single one of you to delete your own TikToks. If you have it, stop buying into the CCP subversion and let us know if you deleted it. Share a picture and using the hashtag trash TikTok. Using that hashtag trash TikTok.
I wonder how long that's going to take. What's the over-under on time? By the end of the show, do you think we're off?
I have no idea.
We'll see how fast they get it.
I really do want to see them delete the account over it.
I know.
Completely true facts.
Yes.
I think
especially the Winnie the Pooh one.
That's the one that I think will make it happen. They do not like the Winnie the Pooh. I mean, they're not.
I love how mad he is about that.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
You know, it would have just
mostly because I don't look like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, really? He can't pronounce. He's like, oh, Baba.
Yeah. It's like,
oh, Baba.
I don't even like honey.
My friend not a piglet. You a pig? No, I don't have my friend a human.
Well, your one friend looks depressed. She's not a donkey though.
Yeah.
He's
Seriously,
depressed.
Eeyore, what a downer.
Yeah, no, Eeyore's always rude.
Oh my gosh, she'd be like, oh, okay, Pooh Bear, I think there's some honey in that bee tree. He's like, oh, don't forget about the Holocaust. What?
I drew a picture of Eeyore hanging and Winnie the Pooh going, I'm too late. And I didn't put it on Twitter because I figured they just take it down for making fun of suicide. But I just
that's an episode where Piglet just shows up. Oh, Eeyore is autoerotic asphyxiation.
It's not what you think.
I gotta bring that back up. Watch. Look at this.
He died doing the one thing that made him happy.
Oh, man.
I like Winnie.
He doesn't know how to take a joke. You just got to let it roll off. Otherwise, people are going to come back at you with Winnie the Pooh signs.
Screw him. Screw China. Screw the Communist Chinese Party. Screw TikTok. And screw Eric Swalwell for banging Chinese spies.
Yeah. Okay. And Tigger, let's get a new name.
Yeah, that's too close.
Little
that's rough.
much these days.
Sorry, I just coughed up a lung.
No, it's ni-ga. It's a word.
Yes, that means
E-H. Yeah, right.
Means
or
right? Gerald's been banned.
It was really the FU part, leave the country, that the guy said that was a problem.
Right. So, okay, here's something else I wanted to talk about. I feel like this is something that a lot of people discuss and aren't able to put a fine point on. Okay, obviously the left is upset with the American healthcare system. And they're upset because they think it needs more government control. But I also believe most people think that there's a problem. Here's something else. I don't know about you. I'm pro-Western medicine to a degree, right? If I get really sick, I don't want to be, chewing on a Kushtanga root. So I think there's a balance. You have these, these patchouli hippies who believe in nothing but alternative medicine, and rather than like going through chemo or something, they're like, I'll use a cream. And I think that's too extreme. And then you have some other people right now, like Fauci and like the media, who are basically doing the bidding for pharmaceutical companies. Let me frame it this way. I think most Americans, and you can tell me if this is how you feel about it, I think it's been something that hasn't been worded very effectively. In our country, we look at drugs and pharmaceuticals, and I'm going to give you some stats here to substantiate my point. We look at drugs and pharmaceuticals as the primary intervention, and we look at what matters most, health, fitness, diet, as ironically supplementary. Even the term supplements. Now, I'll do a whole other segment on the supplement industry and the scams that are taking place there. I think it should be the exact opposite. I think we need to have a system that encourages health, fit, things like diet and exercise. You could eliminate over half the prescriptions that are being given out in this country. I don't think a doctor should give you a pill for a condition, if it's, for example, type 2 diabetes or high cholesterol or high blood pressure, until he says, you know what, go follow this exercise and diet protocol, then come back to me. Instead, they say, here's a prescription, and you can ask them, well, what kind of effect would diet and exercise have? And like, well, I don't really know. That's not what I do. And I'm going to give you some before and after, by the way, blood work from me, because I had cholesterol problems. After I went through major surgery, and of course there were medications at play, lowered it by 70 points.
Yeah.
No medication. As a matter of fact, eliminated more medications because I had to take some post-surgery. So I'll use my personal example to substantiate. It's anecdotal. And then, of course, the empirical that it's not even close. Okay, can you guys comment? I think that's the main problem. I think the way we fix it is drugs are supplementary, and health and overall wellness needs to be primary and needs to be encouraged and needs to be incentivized by the healthcare industry more so than dancing vaccines on Colbert.
Well, and I've noticed a bit more of it now. Like, I had high cholesterol like 4 years ago. I'm sure it's back, but my doctor told me to do, half-hour a day of walking, running, whatever it was, and I stuck to the regimen, and I did drop my cholesterol. He did that before any medication, anything else, and I think there are more doctors doing that these days, depending on who you see, but a lot are trying to do.
Well, like Dr. Choi, Austin's dad, who we've had in the show, that's the first thing he looks at.
Yes.
He goes, let me look at your blood work, let me look at your inflammation markers, let me look at your hormones, all these things before you, and he also can prescribe medications, and he does.
Yeah.
And that's what a doctor should be able to do. And you were about to say something, Gerald.
I was going to say I had high blood pressure out of nowhere. I always had fantastic blood pressure. Out of nowhere, had it, and my wife was like, hey, we've got to get this under control. 1 month later of just going, I didn't realize what I was eating was actually causing this.
Oh, I thought you said you turned to your wife and said, yeah, why don't you give me a break?
Not what I said. My wife, the nurse, she just said, "Yeah, you have to cut these certain things out." And I was like, "Oh." And it wasn't like drastic life changes. Like I didn't have to alter everything that I ate. It was just like, "Oh, I have to be a little bit more careful here."
Yeah.
And it came right back down. If I had gone to a doctor with that, I guarantee you I would have been prescribed something.
Yep.
And it wouldn't have been, "Hey, what are you doing on the outside?"
The human body is pretty resilient.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can bounce back.
But
and I'm not just saying as a joke. Like my liver did that.
Right.
And it was like
the liver can regenerate itself.
Absolutely. I did that
Thank
with
God.
smoking. My lungs are good. Like I heard if you quit smoking before you were 30, your lungs can make a big drastic comeback.
Yeah.
And they did. I quit smoking the day before I turned 30. I'm not kidding.
Your birthday at 28.
I hear you chose then to trust the science, Dave.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I was a 2 to 3 pack a day smoker, and I quit that day. And yeah, I just shook it out of my system. I was a miserable prick.
I can imagine.
But honestly, my lungs are better now than ever. And it was because I just
here's the thing. People, and I always talk about this when people say, "Hey, can we find common ground?" This is something where we should find common ground. Hey, people need to be healthier. Hey, we need a medical system that incentivizes, and I mean that financially with insurance companies. I mean that with doctors. I mean it should lower your cost, not only of the fact that you don't need to purchase prescriptions, but it should lower your overall health care costs. You should be rewarded, maybe in less expensive doctor visits. Maybe, of course, in insurance plans that reward someone who's consistently healthy if you do the consistent blood work. I don't care if it's a Subway punch card, for crying out loud. My point is, that's how we should be incentivizing people in this country. And we've just gone through a period in time with COVID where more than ever, that was silenced. For example, if you said, hey, also taking things like zinc quercetin, which now has clinically published clinical data, or also getting enough sunlight, also lowering your cholesterol, also dieting and exercising properly can help, regardless of whether you use a mask or vaccinate. People have been removed for that.
Yeah.
And this is where science has become dogmatic, and it's become dogmatic in a way that harms people. And if you need more proof, this is where we say, hey, can we find common ground, and we need a system that focuses on overall health? Well, you would think so, except here's the Association of American Medical Colleges saying that the system is broken because, and we think common ground? No, racism.
So, Philip, there's a lot more to health than doctors and hospitals. What are some of the social determinants of health?
That's a great question. So we've spent, I think, the last 10 years or so focused this health conversation on issues of health care, right? Insurance coverage, drug pricing, access, hugely important issues. But the science tells us that all of that work that happens in a doctor's office accounts for about 20% of what makes you healthy, of what makes your communities healthy, of what makes the nation healthy. And the
How do
other
you choose
80%,
where to start your beard?
Has to do with the conditions where we live and the social conditions, the community level factors. Let me give you an example. So a patient goes to a doctor. The patient has diabetes. Doctor says, take your medicine, get some exercise, and eat more healthfully. So great, that's that 20%, the clinical care.
But some commentators say medical schools should stick to the science, basic science, and should not teach social justice issues. Do you each agree with that?
Listen,
I could not disagree more with that. I think it's a false dichotomy. It's both. Of course, we want our physicians to be competent and grounded in science, of course, and skilled.
And the phrase.
But at the same time, again, their health care is provided in a context. Weird. And if the care team, it's not just physicians, it's physicians and nurses, community health workers, social workers. If that care team isn't providing care, understanding the lived experience of their patients, the health care won't work like it could.
That's silly, and you're silly for saying it. Of course, I should take that, but their lived experiences. No. Science, and especially health, is about numbers on a page. It's about numbers on a page. It's about numbers on a scale. It is something that is measurable, and it is something that is undeniable, regardless of the lived experience. Hey, maybe, remember when they used to complain about food deserts?
Yeah.
They still try and complain. There's still funding for food deserts when there's Amazon Prime groceries and there is no food desert. As a matter of fact, I think the only food deserts that might exist in this country is where white rural farmers live in places like Wyoming. It's not Spanish Harlem.
You mean so if I have high cholesterol and I'm black, I can't still eat cheeseburgers and steaks all the time and get my cholesterol down?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't understand my lived experience, though. If I'm a person of color, of any color,
yes,
I can't eat those things. And
well, There is the exception for sickle cell. That is something that, you might want to check for. But outside of that, it applies to everybody.
Oh, okay. So everybody else has to play by the rules.
Right. But if you make a joke about sickle cell, people will be more offended and consider that racist as opposed to saying, well, we need to learn a lived experience. What do you mean? Fat black women coming in all the time.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, it changes. Why would that have any impact? Yes, it impacts how you solve the problem potentially because maybe it costs more money to eat healthy in your area. I doubt it.
It does not. That is an absolute lie.
That's what they push.
It does not cost more money to eat healthy. That's an absolute
So you have to
lie.
make changes because you have to make changes. It doesn't change what is healthy. It just changes how you may have to approach it. Okay, you have a busy lifestyle. You're going to have to carve out a little bit more time to cook at home instead of grabbing something from McDonald's on the way into work.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, there you go. Problem solved.
Yes, that's the issue is time on the way into work.
Time management.
Now, they, after COVID, doubled down.
So if anything, the presence of the pandemic steeled our resolve to deal with these problems. We need to make diversity, equity, and inclusion
steeled, like hardened.
to our forward motion to solve
Alloyed
many,
our resolve.
many of our problems. For two reasons. One is that it's the right thing to do, a social justice reason. And the second reason is diverse teams, diverse groups of people, it's been shown convincingly by research, make better decisions.
When they're all the
same. They bring a
same.
broader range of perspectives to a problem.
Okay, here's the thing. That's the bait and switch. A broader range of perspectives. Hey, my perspective is that people need a diet next. No! We meant we need some black ladies, yo. You need people of different colors. How about people of different ideological persuasion?
Ah.
Yeah. Why are social workers supposed to be cops and doctors?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I can't get that out of my head.
We're supposed to call a social worker if someone is raping my neighbor and call a social worker if I have a coronary heart attack.
Well, they just have PTSD.
They really should get a raise. They're doing a lot of work these days that they didn't know they had to.
A lot of consolidation of jobs here.
They've gone from doing nothing and being useless to now they are PhDs and police officers. Next time Tim Pool gets swatted, it's just going to be a bunch of social workers coming through the window.
We need to talk, Tim.
Poor
Your camera's racist.
That poor son of a bitch. Poor guy. Swatted twice. Ugh. So this is what happens. He says that, and it's about diversity and inclusion, and it's, right? They even answered in the first video, it's not just about the science. Look, if science can't be just about the science, then nothing can be just about the science. Don't tell me to trust the science. And this all leads to what? Folks being built like the Kool-Aid guy chastising healthy people.
Governor, where's your mask?
We're all making choices.
Yeah, look around you, Governor. You're in Alexandria.
Yeah.
Read the room, buddy.
Yeah, she busted through a brick wall just to make that point.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Seeing no
Wear a mask. Bam.
Yeah. Bang. N95. Ride the blue wave.
You had waffles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That mask isn't going to save you.
Screaming at a man.
From high cholesterol.
And by the way, you know what? I've got to say, and everyone's a hypocrite. You've heard me say this before. Everyone is a hypocrite. You can find plenty of examples of me being a hypocrite. For example, I'm a Christian. Sometimes I use bad language. And by that, I mean very often. Everyone is a hypocrite. They fall short. And the same thing, we have this same problem that you just saw there taking place in our office.
So no one's going to wear a mask? Am I the only person who cares about health in this whole building? I'm the only person. It's called a mask, guys. It's for your face. It protects us all from being sick. Do you want to be sick and die? Just wear. Why is it so hard? See? You made me sick. It's blood again. It's blood again. Because of you guys. I'm going to have more of this pizza. Is that cool?
I don't know why we hired Bruce Valanche.
That's true.
You really should fire him.
No.
We need a salad bar out there.
Hollywood Squares is very 90s. So let me get, again, I am not anti-medication, anti-prescriptions. I have had to, look, when I had 3 titanium rods bolted to my rib cage, Michael, I was very grateful for pharmaceutical interventions. Do not get me wrong. But I think people can believe that and also understand that we are an over-medicated society here in the United States. Is that fair? Is that fair? I don't think that that's unreasonable. People like to act as though there are just two camps. No. On television, there are two camps because of the advertising, because of the dollars that, of course, are influential, to the point that Pfizer is influencing comedy. But most Americans that I meet, they want to live a generally healthy lifestyle, but also believe that, I'd like to do so without prescriptions. Okay.
They were catching fish in the Great Lakes that had antidepressants in them.
Well, they were happy.
This is something I will say, though. There's that big concern is like antidepressants or opioids, they say don't flush your drugs because that'll get out into, that'll get into the water supply.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what I flush down my toilet every day? Percocet's the least of your worries.
That's true.
After a night of halal guys, that mud pile going out into the Hudson.
Yeah, that's true.
Crying out loud, I should be so lucky if I have trace amounts of Xanax.
Yeah. Those fish do deserve a little Xanax after what I put down there.
Exactly.
As they're dying because they can't breathe, they're like, well, this isn't quite as bad.
It's not as bad as post-Indian food, Gerald.
Yeah. Wait, me?
I'm just saying.
No.
Those pills going down the toilet, it's like, if that's a problem, I know they're going to say it's microscopic and birth control. I don't care. They're like, oh, the fish are growing tits and the frogs are going gay.
Yeah,
I can't do my house.
No, it's too much.
You just have cracked out fish. Man, I got these cheeseburgers. Get out of here, trout.
You just pull them up on the boat. You like,
don't get me started, carp.
Stop it. Don't get too bold. You don't even have teeth.
Look, I'll just give you some money.
Just go away, all right?
You guys got any change? I don't want to eat this thing.
No, I don't want to eat this. So let me give you some stats really quickly. All references available at loudwithcarter.com. We have 6.3 trillion prescriptions. They were prescribed in 2020 alone. That's the last year we can find the accurate numbers. The annual prescription increase is rising 4 times faster than the actual population growth. Over half of all adults have taken a prescription drug in the previous 30 days. Okay.
Jeez.
Now, that in a vacuum, you just go, okay, what does that really mean? People need prescriptions. I understand that. But let's compare it to, according to the CDC, the number of people who are getting enough exercise according to CDC guidelines. And I don't know if we'll get in trouble for quoting the CDC. 23% of adults, 26% of high school students. So over half of all Americans are taking some kind of a prescription. And by the way, the most popular prescriptions in this country, or some of the most popular prescriptions, certainly are heart medications, blood pressure medications, cholesterol medications. But less than a quarter are getting adequate exercise. And by the way, if you actually look at the guidelines, adequate exercise is not what you think it is. You don't have to be an Instagram ass model. It's going for a walk like 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week.
Wow.
It's not that severe.
I still can't do it. I never close the rings on my watch.
And this is the problem. You can't say trust the science. You can't say trust the science while also saying we need to celebrate all body types and fat pride and fat is healthy. Okay, you know what? Let me tell you exactly why it's not. Sure, you might find some exceptions. You might find some Samoan guy with perfect cholesterol because, his great-grandfather was throwing someone off a cliff because they weren't native. But as a general rule, obese individuals, look, they're 4 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. That increases heart disease by 2 to 4 times. Obese individuals, this is something we couldn't 3 times more likely to be hospitalized or die from COVID. 3 times more likely. But guess what? If we came on here and if someone said, hey, what's the most effective thing you could do for COVID? Right? Even now with Omicron, right? We all acknowledge the vaccines don't work that well with Omicron. We acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And they just pulled antibodies, monoclonal antibody treatments in Florida. I believe it was in Florida. They just pulled it as a treatment because they're saying it's not working against Omicron. Okay, so at least now we can say this safely. We're at a point where the interventions don't work that well. Can we say now, hey, the single most effective thing you can do to avoid COVID, particularly hospitalization or death, is lose weight and exercise? 3 times.
Yeah. The most effective thing that you can do to not die from, insert anything you want.
Insert anything here, but 3 times more likely to be hospitalized or die from COVID.
Exactly.
And the problem is the pharmaceutical companies, and look, and I'm not saying that there is no use in the pharmaceutical companies. Some great things, some great drugs we need. I get that.
For sure.
However, there was a time where everyone was being lumped in, and by time, I mean today, where people are being lumped in with crazy hippies who are simply telling you to rub some kind of essential oil salve on your melanoma to fix it. We've been lumped in the same category when we say, look, more important than any vaccine, more important than any drug, more important than anything else you can do if you are worried about COVID is diet, exercise, get healthier. It will have we would save more lives if doctors focused on that. It wouldn't even be comparable.
Yeah.
You are talking about you could reduce the likelihood of hospitalization and death by 3 times. Instead, you get banned.
Yeah. That was an easy win that we should have been able to take. And really, it comes back to this personal responsibility. All we're asking people to do is realize that their behavior has consequences across the board, whether it's talking about health or political beliefs.
And stop looking gross.
Or beating people up or, reaching for a gun when a cop is telling you to put your hands up. Like, all of those behaviors have consequences. And we're saying, look, just take responsibility. Don't go, I'm going to eat how I'm going to eat, and it's just genetic and whatever, and then go to the doctor and say, just give me pills to counteract what I'm doing, and then the pills that I need to take because of the side effects of the pills that I'm taking, and it just keeps multiplying out. Nobody wants to make hard choices.
I'm unhappy, overweight, unemployed, unsuccessful, but if I put on a mask, I can virtue signal that I care more. Why don't you care about people dying? Why don't you care about people dying?
Yeah.
Why don't you go out there and crusade for the American for the American Heart Association, for the CDC? I mean, Johns Hopkins has done a lot of these studies, and they've been excoriated for it. Why don't you make a part of your raison d'etre to go out and say, okay, let's stop fat pride. It's killing more people from COVID than any other risk factor. You can't say it because it's hate speech. I don't know. It was like I turned around for a second, turned back, and fat people were a protected group. And when I say that, I'm not saying being a little bit overweight. I'm saying being morbidly obese and telling young women that it is healthy. And here's the thing. You have this coming not just from social justice warriors. This is the problem. When you think science is immune to the influence of not just Facebook, Twitter, but, for example, communist regime run TikTok, you have scientists and doctors who are actually influenced by social media influencers. Why? Because if they get on the right platform and they espouse the right view, they know that they can get their name out there. You see it all the time. You see psychologists who are trying to sell books and they're trying to sell podcasts. You see doctors all the time on television giving bogus health advice because they know they can have the right people on as guests. So case in point right now, here's Dr. Lindo Bacon. Yes. A leader in the
6 degrees.
A leader in the health at every size movement here.
It's not fat that plays a strong role.
Rachel
in
Dratch.
health. The real issue in health has more to do with fat stigma. For example, if you tell somebody that they're fat and ugly and that they're going to get sick, well, that's certainly going to set up pretty stressful conditions for them, and it is much more likely that they are going to get sick. And we're even able to trace all of these pathways. We can see in science the ways in which increased stigma increases a cortisol response in your body that then does damage and increases the tendency towards insulin resistance and diabetes. So we can map all of this stuff out physiologically, and we can see the ways in which fat stigma causes some of the disease problems that we tend to blame on the weight itself.
Okay, first off, I don't know what the stigma is on Slappy from Night of the Living Dummy Goosebumps acting as a doctor, but I think it needs to be a little more.
Oh, man.
It's a shocking thing.
And everything that lady just said, that dummy just said is bullshit, okay? And I understand what she's trying to say, and this is the problem with medical speak when she's going, oh, you know what, I'm an activist. You know, if you make fun of someone who's fat, that can make them stressed, and that can make them release more cortisol, and that could hamper immune function, and that could increase insulin resistance. Sure, that's absolutely true. You know what could also create insulin resistance? Being morbidly obese!
Yeah.
It's like if you make fun of someone, they'll get stressed, and that hormone might eventually. And it's like, well, okay, yeah. Hey, let me ask you this: if someone is morbidly obese, are they usually insulin resistant? Almost 100% of the time. Good. Well, then let's start with that.
Yeah. This is a great place to start. 0.01% of the
And by the way, just so you know, that's bullshit. I think I can tease this now, Tokunawan.
Yeah.
I was a featured speaker. I wasn't. Lady Steven Crowder was a featured speaker at a health conference, and we have a published paper on fat pride in the era of Donald Trump, fat as a health mechanism in the era of Donald Trump. And it was accepted, and I spoke before all of my peers.
What?
There was zero vetting. You'll see. It's absurd. It's so easy to go up and spew it and claim that you're an expert. They had no idea it was me in a sweater with a wig.
When was this?
They love the sweater.
Yes, they loved the sweater. That was their only comments. Not that what I was saying was absurd. We actually got admitted into an academic conference as an expert on fat as a health measure in the era of Donald Trump.
How did I not know about this?
Well, it's been a long time. We had to make sure that we cross all our D's and dot our I's. The point is, I have no idea if Slappy there has ever actually been to medical school. Now, let me give you a couple other things here that, again, if we're going to look to find common ground, benefits of a healthy lifestyle. All right, okay. Look, this should seem self-explanatory, but apparently someone didn't get the memo to these doctors. You have better cardiac function, even if you already have heart problems, even if you already have heart disease. If you start exercising now, you can actually still improve your heart function. You can actually still improve your health outcomes. You'll have more quantity and better functioning mitochondria, reversing type 2 diabetes.
There we go.
All-cause mortality becomes the lowest when you improve things like muscle mass, cardiorespiratory fitness, your leg strength, walking speed, grip strength. And look, let me tell you this. I will give you a perfect example, okay? After surgery, if you guys went to my Instagram, you saw I was significantly heavier, okay? And a big part of it came because of medications, fluid retention. I had the emergency where I think I tore something. And
internal bleeding.
Internal bleeding, all of that.
Call it that.
But that being said, for a while, I could not move at all. And I won't lie, I was a little bit depressed because I couldn't move, and I almost died. So I started eating like crap, and I ballooned up about 35 pounds. And my cholesterol, I'd never had a problem with it before. My cholesterol was bad. Well, guess what? I can show you now, before and after, from this summer to now, where it went from bad to better than perfect. Okay, I had a 278 or 270, my cholesterol, went down to 203, but my HDL is like 60 something, so my risk ratio is 2.23. Went from being a problem to not being a problem at all.
Wow.
No drugs at all. No drugs whatsoever, just getting back out, getting active. I still have some ways to go, but I can tell you, it works. And by the way, my doctor is always like, that's what you got to do. At a certain point, you're just going to have to start moving. It's not easy. Certainly not. It certainly was not easy. The last thing that I wanted to do after having titanium rods bolted to my chest and recovering without the use of opioids, by the way, was go out and walk the dog, was get in the gym and move a weight. You know, it's easy when you feel bad when you're feeling crappy to eat like crap. And I did that for a few weeks, and I said, well, you know what? Either I've got to get a handle on this or it's going to be a problem. And you know what? If I didn't have great doctors, like the ones at Mayo, they have the Mayo diet. That's what's great about Mayo. They have all of the experts in one room. They communicate. They treat the body as one unit.
Yeah.
Most doctors, you go, they go, yeah, I'm a cardiologist. No, your heart is okay. And then they go, oh, you're a thoracic surgeon. They go, oh, you know what, your sternum's bent. I had to go to Mayo where they go, your sternum's going into your heart and your lung. And this is something they wouldn't have known because they look at the body as an individual unit and then look at it to write a prescription. As opposed to saying, look, we know overall improve your meat vehicle. Diet right, exercise. Okay, there are about the amount of supplements that work, you can count on one hand, to be clear, but there are some supplements out there that are useful. And we should see prescription intervention and drugs as secondary, as supplementary, not as primary. If we could all find some common ground on that, and that fat pride is silly and dangerous, then maybe we could actually make some progress.
Yeah, well, instead of doctors being chastised for looking at somebody who is morbidly obese and saying, hey, that's the problem, and we've seen video after video. We talked about this a little bit earlier where people are saying, every time I go into the doctor, I hate it. And I'm like, well, yeah, it should be uncomfortable. I'm sorry, you're very unhealthy, and a doctor is looking at you as a ticking time bomb.
Well, also your primary physician shouldn't be your proctologist. But
well, that's absolutely true. But would you rather die or would you rather have somebody tell you the truth?
Yeah.
I would rather have somebody tell me the truth, even if it's difficult for me to hear, than die.
I still don't know how he can take my cholesterol that way. He seems to know.
Doc, are you sure this works? You've tried 7 times.
He's more of an oracle, really.
Yes. And I'm like, all right, I guess if you don't want to wear the glove, you're the doctor.
How many times are you going to check my cholesterol? Best 2 out of 5.
It's not a dipstick, Doc.
Doctor, you're doing the wrong math. It's 3 out of 5. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant 6 out of 10.
Did you just fake put that on?
No.
That sponge isn't wet.
It's the whole glove except these 2 fingers.
Yes.
You're like, what? What is this?
Like, wait, Dr. Greenberg, does the N stand for naughty?
Oh.
So, look, And I want to hear from you guys if you have ever gone through something like this and how you've improved your health outcomes yourself.
Yeah.
I believe in, before and after lab work. You guys can send them in, post them if you want to publicly. This is one of those things, it doesn't need to be some person who's on steroids, right? Some person who's on steroids out there trying to sell some yoga pants on Instagram. Everyone can improve themselves. And you stop trying to look for the body of someone. Like some people go in, right, and they'll say, I want the Ryan Reynolds body. Well, you're never going to have it. I want the Phelps body. Well, you know what? Size 18 shoe and the wingspan of an albatross. You can have the best body and the best health measurements, the best health parameters for you individually. And you're only going to figure that out if you do these things, if you take these steps. And you know what? Most Americans in general, unfortunately, trust the guy in the lab coat. And sometimes they're great. I'm fortunate. This guy, Dr. Choi, who I see, is unbelievable because he incorporates all of this. Unfortunately, some people are trusting the dummy in the lab coat who you just saw, or they're trusting the people in the lab coats at the CDC who say that, I don't know, this virus originated in nature. The point is, you can't say trust the science and then absolutely deny the science. I'm going to use this before we go, okay? And you can smash that like button because it'll help the algorithm. And I guarantee you, YouTube's not happy to hear this. You know what? For every single time an expert like Fauci or whoever it is, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, whoever is on television at that time, for every single time they have addressed COVID, for every single time you've addressed COVID, Fauci, and not specifically advocated for healthier diet and lifestyle, you have blood on your hands. You want to say that we have blood on our hands for not getting vaccinated, for not wearing a mask? If you haven't told people to decrease their BMI, to go out, diet, and exercise, and that will be more effective in preventing death or hospitalization than a vaccine, you have blood on your hands. How about that? That's the actual science, not the social science. YouTube, you can piss off.